Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Carl Mingers. This is Aaron Burns. We are WRME Live. We are Main Edge Realty. Okay. July 3rd, 2026. Tomorrow, July 4th, we are celebrating the 250th year of the U.S.
Yes,
It's a big deal.
it is.
Okay, now I was around this episode 262. Boy, we've been moving right along. We got a big 4th of July deal at my cousin's house tonight.
Yep.
In Mustang, we can do all kinds of fireworks and everything. Now, I live south of Mustang, which is Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
I can't shoot off fireworks
And
there.
I live north, and you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
but
well,
people
you're not
do.
supposed to.
I listened to him last few nights.
Luckily, we've had lots of rain and lots of humidity.
Yes.
So the fire danger is minimum. And that's a great deal.
If you're going to do fireworks, great. But I drove through my neighborhood this morning, and there was trash in the street.
Yep.
Pick it up.
One thing Mustang does is every firecracker stand, and they're all over town.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's
They
a
are
lot.
designated an area to clean up. Okay.
And that's great.
And they've divided the whole city up amongst all these fireworks stands.
And
And that way, the next day they go and they clean up the whole area.
you got to understand, a lot of these are like football leagues, cheerleading, pom,
Right.
Stuff like that. So it's a group.
Most of them are
activities,
fundraisers.
or churches, or
Right.
stuff like that.
The only one that's the big for-profit deal is Fireworks City,
Right.
which is its own city. It is not actually part of Mustang.
No.
Even though it's in our 12 square miles. And they're a big deal. Everybody from Oklahoma City and the surrounding town go to Fireworks City, and they load up. And a lot of them, if they turn around and go back into the city, the police a lot of times will pull them over, because they know they just came from the fireworks stand.
Right.
Okay, but if they go through Mustang, which thousands of people come into town
Yeah.
for the 4th of July, and it looks like a war zone.
Oh, it does.
You'll
We
always
call
see it
the
on
war zone.
Facebook. It's crazy.
We can see it from our house.
It's a tradition that we value very much. Okay.
We've only once been up there to the park while they were dead one night, and we never went again. That was really crazy.
Now, another thing that's going to be exciting about tonight is I took all of the flares off of Snapdragon, off our boat, and I have the back of my Jeep is full. I've got flares back into the 90s.
Yeah.
And they work great.
So long ago.
Yeah, well, it is. That's so long ago. Just think. I was here for the bicentennial, 1976. And that was a big deal then. Not near as big as this 250
Right.
deal. You weren't even thought of yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So this is your first big celebration. Okay. I wish we could go to DC to see all this stuff.
I was seeing the U.S. State Fair, hearing advertising about that.
Right.
And I was like, that'd be cool to go to.
Mm-hmm. It would. I love seeing all these people from these other countries here for the World Cup.
Yes.
I had friends of mine from Brazil that I went on the group study exchange with in 2012. And we met them, and we met over at the
Frosty Mug.
Yeah, the Frosty Mug. And one of the guys is a professional accordion player and singer.
And that clip is on Big Deal Adventures.
Yes, we had a blast. But Raphael, he was a friend of mine that he opened the very first Subway in South America. Okay, I was there when he opened it up, and now he has 5. And it's just great to see people prosper. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people prospering here. A lot of negativity going on. Almost hate to open Facebook anymore.
Yes.
Except I've been watching YouTube and all these people from all over that just love the U.S.
Well, I've only really been on Facebook for work stuff, and then watching the reels, because you can find those
Right.
on YouTube and stuff that have the people visiting from Europe and all over, and all their thoughts about
Yeah.
the U.S.
Well, we were in the Frosty Mug there, and we have our own little section over there because Raphael brought his son, so we couldn't sit in the bar.
And that was a once in a lifetime thing for that little guy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
looked like he was
But
having a blast.
But the professional accordion player was with us, And he got it out, brought it in. The manager comes over. What are you going to do? What's going on? And I'm like, well, this will probably go on YouTube. And these are my friends from Brazil. And we're going to play the accordion. You know, this can either work for you or this can work against you.
I mean, you're getting a free professional performance.
It's
here.
your call. Okay. And he started up that accordion, and man, his fingers moved so fast. But his very first song was Take Me Home Country Road. I guess everybody in the world knows that song. And before you know it, the whole building is singing that. And this guy was so good. He had never heard of Toby Keith. He asked me what I wanted to hear. I said, can you do Should Have Been a Cowboy by Toby Keith? He had never heard of Toby Keith. Okay. So he takes 5 minutes. He watches it on his iPhone and then plays it and sings it like he sang it 100 times.
Oh, wow.
And then after that was done, you know, in Should Have Been a Cowboy, he goes, you know, just like Gene and Roy. After it was all done, and we're still done, they're like, who's Gene and Roy? They never heard of Gene Autry or Roy Rogers.
Wow.
You know, which most young people probably haven't heard of those either. Yeah. But
I'm
it
young
was
enough.
a big deal. It was fantastic. And the level of patriotism, I mean, they give me Brazilian hats and a whole bunch of stuff like that, but they just love being here for the World Cup. And they were headed to Kansas City.
Yes.
For that World Cup game.
They left there yesterday. They said they were stopping in Tulsa.
Yeah, they had to go to the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa.
That's where they wanted. Nice.
You know, it's just great to see all these people. I mean, it costs a lot of money for them to fly into Austin, rent a car, drive. They spent the day in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Went to the John Wayne Museum. Did the cattle drive thing, and they were just ecstatic about that. And he brought, you know, 5 of his friends. And before we were done, well, they came by here at the office yesterday. Yes. They had to say goodbye. You know, it was like we've known each other all our lives.
Yeah.
And I've never met these other people before.
Yeah.
But they appreciated the hospitality. They loved everything about our country. They could not find one thing that they did not like.
And I'll tell you, it's not cheap to travel to another country.
No, it's not.
You got to deal with transportation, food, you know,
hotel rooms.
Mm-hmm. When we did the Europe trip with Tyler and everything was planned for us, all we had to do was pay and show up and have a meal a day at least and spending money. It was still over $6,000 a piece for just us two for the 19 days with travel and everything. And that was with a group discount because we had 4 tour buses.
Right. Now I told our waitress, I says, now when we're ready for the bill, you bring it to me. Okay. And I'll take care of it. She's cool with that. But then when the bill came, they didn't want me to pay for it. I said, no, you're in my town. You're my guest.
Yep.
I'm taking care of this. You know, it's the least I can do because I know how expensive it is to travel.
Yeah.
And the doctor in the group, he just, you know, he starts breaking out $100 bills, you know. It's like, no. And now finally I says, I'll wrestle you for it. And he's about half my size. He goes, okay. It was just a great time, you know.
Tell him us Okies are stubborn.
That's it, you know. And you know, we love our state, and we've got great stuff going on here.
It's like that YouTube video I watched that I told you about, where that couple, a guy from Oklahoma hit him up and took him out on the side by side and done all that, and he tried to buy his own beer, and the guy was like, "No, you're my guest. That's not how it works.
You're in my town, you know.
We pay for our guests."
Yeah. You know, let's talk real estate. You know, it's been just crazy. You know, what's going on? You know, you were talking about interest rates. Yes. I used to check interest rates every day. I have lost interest in interest rates.
I have to look it up now when people ask me because I'm like,
you know, because it's, you know, really to think about it, interest rates are what they are.
They are.
There's nothing you can do, and waiting around is fruitless.
And if you're worried about it, save money to buy down points. Mm-hmm. Instead of asking for closing costs, ask for money to buy down your points.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. But I'd recommend just saving extra money. You know, your down payment, all your closing costs, and save some extra for a buy down. You just need to talk to your lender and see what it costs to buy down.
Yeah, over a 30-year note. That can be, you know, instead of asking for 5 or $7,000 closing costs,
Right.
to help you get into the house. Ask them to buy that note down. And if you can get it down like 1% over a 30-year note, that's
Makes a big
$40,000,
difference.
$50,000 minimum.
And be
Okay.
smart. Have all the money ready you need to buy down, closing costs, inspections, all that. And if they do agree to buy down or pay some of your closing costs, you have a savings account ready for your home, a home savings account. That's important because things break,
Yep.
things go out, things need repaired. So you need that savings account
Now,
in case that happens.
now
You're
that's
not struggling.
that's one of the good things about somebody buying a brand new house,
Yes.
because most of our builders around here have a 1-year warranty on everything.
Just because
Period.
you buy it brand new doesn't mean something's not going to happen. I've talked to somebody in a
Mhm.
3-year-old house and they're having a plumbing issue. So I had to send them a plumber we use because the plumbing company was trying to screw them over by telling them they needed work done that didn't in a 3-year-old house. So
And we're pretty picky about vendors.
yes,
Okay.
very picky.
We get a quote. What was the last thing we got quoted that was just so crazy?
It was the electrical roof work on the roof.
Yeah, that.
That was.
But mowing, just a little while ago.
Oh yeah, that mowing
we
too.
needed that. It was anywhere from $600 to $1,800 for the same
Yeah.
thing. From half a dozen different people.
And we get that if somebody doesn't want to do it, they're going to bid it high. We
Right.
understand that. Just tell me you don't want to do it.
Right. Just say that.
I'm fine with that.
Or I'm too busy, or I'm going to be out of town, or I'm going fishing, whatever.
I don't care. Just straight up tell me.
Yeah, just tell us the truth.
Because we're fine with that. There's stuff we don't want to do, and we'll be like, nope. No, thank you.
And we're getting some listings ready for the
Yes.
school year. We try to prep our sellers. Like one of them, it's going on the market no matter what. But I'm like, dude, we've got to have this on,
Yes.
15th to the
done.
20th of July. We've got to catch. We have a bell curve in Mustang. Everybody's coming in for the schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the number one school system in this area. Period. Okay,
Yes.
and so we've got to have that. If you want this $10,000 more that you're thinking your house is worth, which is hard to comp,
Yes.
we've got to get it in this bell curve,
And
it's gone.
And the reason it's hard to comp, it's in one of the neighborhoods where people buy and stay. So there's not a lot of turnover. So it makes it harder to comp when there's not as much turnover as a normal
Right.
neighborhood.
And I don't like going outside of a neighborhood for comps. I really don't.
No, I had to stay in the neighborhood and go back a year to get comps. So I didn't have to go outside the neighborhood. That's how little turnover there is in this neighborhood. And we had the same issue when we bought the house with Solutions.
Yep.
When we
yep.
comped it. So it's in that same neighborhood.
Where I grew up in Mustang, over here on the east side,
Yes.
that neighborhood, everybody's been there forever.
It's the same way
And,
too, yeah.
A little 1,100 square foot house in that neighborhood, when it does come available, goes for 70,000 over what it would go for a half a mile away.
Right.
Just because of the neighborhood. And it's one of the last neighborhoods around here that the kids can run up and down the street. I mean, it's a total freedom feeling.
Yeah.
Where you live now, that's a weird neighborhood to me.
It is. It wasn't as weird when we moved in, but it is now.
Well, it didn't help with all the apartments coming in, and
that one came in after we bought. So we're surrounded by apartments now, which sucks.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's not bad. They're good apartment complexes. It's just a lot of traffic. The traffic sucks, and
it cracks me up to go over there like on a school morning, and the
school
bus pulls up, and there's 50 kids get on the bus at one time.
Yeah.
Like,
and
then the bus goes straight to school.
All the apartment complexes come out. The only neighborhood they go into is ours. So the duplex has to come out, and the apartment complex, they all go to the street and wait for the bus. But in my neighborhood, there's 3 corners, and there's kids on every corner.
Right. That's just unique. I'm picky about neighborhoods,
But it's a great location.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's close to everything.
It
You know,
is.
you can, boom, you're on the interstate. Boom, you're on the
And that's
turnpike, you
why
know.
we chose it, is because easy access to the turnpike for me driving back and forth to Tulsa a lot.
Yes, where I live down on the river, it's an extra 15 to 20 minutes to anywhere.
Right.
It's 20 minutes to Mustang
Yep.
during the school year, for sure.
Oh, same for me. Holy crap. Don't go down Mustang Road.
That's why neighborhoods are important. And when you're out looking for houses, absorb the feeling of the neighborhood. You can generally tell by driving through there, and if you see somebody in the yard, stop and talk to them. Most everybody in Oklahoma is friendly, and if
Yeah.
they love their neighborhood, they'll tell you. If there's something bad about their neighborhood, they will tell you.
And there's always going to be pros and cons. Everybody's going to have pros and cons. There's things about my neighborhood I love, and there's things about my neighborhood I hate.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love and hate is different than what my neighbor might love and hate.
Mhm.
So take
And
it with a grain of salt.
Everybody has different wants and desires.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody has different age school kids, or you're just at a different stage in
Yeah.
life. We had this big discussion with Christine, our office manager. She's younger than all of us.
Yes.
Okay.
And she has younger kids.
And
We're
she's got
empty
little
nesters.
kids and everything. You're at a different stage in life. Okay. And we try to really connect with that with all of our buyers and sellers and stuff like that.
Because that makes a difference. If you have younger kids, or you're just starting a family, or your kids just moved out and you're an empty nester now, or you've been retired for a while, all this stuff makes difference. What your needs are. Do you need close to a school? Do you need close to a highway? Or close to a certain hospital, or
Close to
whatever,
work.
or family, or
I've had older couples that they want to be within a mile or two of the hospital, and we have a nice hospital here in
we have
Mustang.
a
They want to be within a mile or two of Walmart,
yep,
and luckily Walmart's right across from our hospital.
yep,
That's why we need more houses in that one
yeah,
4 block or 4 mile square, because so many people they need that, for their own self-confidence.
Right.
And if you're 80 years old, you want to know, if you fall down, there's going to be somebody. We
Yes.
got a new fire station on the east side of town. Response time is Mustang is 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, it's very fast. Okay. And that's important.
it is.
It really is. Now, when you're younger, you really don't think about that stuff. But when you're 75 or 80, or your balance isn't quite like what it used to be, you think about that stuff.
So,
What else we got going today?
not a lot.
Besides you eating your cinnamon roll and I eating my
I
dadgum
know, mine's down
apple
there.
fritter, because it's a holiday and we can do that. Okay?
He got us snacks.
It's really a great time to be alive. All the stuff going on. People just need to be happy. They need to try harder. If they're not happy, something's wrong. And generally it's inside in their own little world or their own bubble.
If it causes you drama, get rid of it.
I had a call from a realtor of 27 years last night after I got home. And Gina used to be one of our agents.
Mm-hmm.
Had this gal call me. She has 10 rentals, but she got underwater because a friend of hers had brain cancer. She's been dealing with that. And so she's short on cash and stuff, and so it's kind of hurt her credit a little bit. But she's got 10 rentals, okay? And she doesn't want to get rid of those rentals. And she needs between 50 and 100 grand, okay, to get caught up in, and our real estate market's been crazy. So you
Right.
cannot depend on a
No.
certain income, which banks look at that and go,
Yep.
got to run. And I talked her through the whole thing, and she has one house that she has $150,000 in equity in, and she goes, I tried to get a equity loan on that, and nobody wants to touch it because my credit has suffered, and she hasn't had a whole lot of sales because she's been taking care of this friend with
Right.
cancer. And I said, well, you're better off to sell that one house,
Yep.
okay? Keep your 9,
Sell the one.
get back on your feet. Life's too short to be suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And she has avenues to fix it, but she's just blinded by all the
Right.
pressure on her. Okay. And I spent a half an hour with her on the phone. and we built a plan. And she thanked me profusely. I mean, I love doing stuff like that. I don't
Yes.
make a nickel off of that. But if I can save somebody else from suffering one more day, that's in my wheelhouse.
But and most of the time, if she wouldn't have been under all the pressure, she would have looked at it and figured it out
That's right.
herself.
Right. Well, she was worried about capital gains.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, capital gains is what, 15% now? It's way
so.
down from what it was.
Right.
Okay. She gives 75 for the house. It's worth 175. So she's only dealing with $100,000 worth of gain. $15,000 would be the tax on that. What would that cost her to go borrow $100,000
Right.
on that house
So in other words,
have to
it's
pay
less.
interest? She's trying to save $15,000 and it's going to cost her about $160,000 to $180,000 depending on the interest
Right.
rate.
And it's money she doesn't have to pay back or worry about a monthly payment.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
put on top of her added stress.
So she could come out, fix all of her financial problem, and then go back into buying houses.
Yeah, she can buy more later.
Just to, and that's the great thing about having rentals. If you've got to have cash, you can sell it off. Okay.
Yep.
Because there's always somebody out there going to buy it.
Yep.
Okay. In our market, there's somebody that's going to buy
I have investors calling me every day wanting something.
The investor market is tight.
It is.
Okay. Now, I think a lot of the big commercial, not commercial, all the investment groups
Oh, yeah.
that have been buying all these, like, BlackRock and all those, they're slowing down on a lot of that stuff. Okay. And that's another thing. Trump is, part of this new bill is to limit how many homes these institutional investors can buy, because that hurts the normal average American market.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't continue to let that go on.
No, because if I sold and they bought mine, that's one more house off the market for a homeowner.
Mm-hmm. And with one more nail in the coffin of renters. Okay. Yeah. And, it's just crazy. All right. Well, what else?
That's all I got.
All right.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Doing fireworks.
Be safe with the fireworks. Go out and enjoy this celebration of the 250th year. All right. We are WRME Live. We are Main Edge Real Estate.